My girlfriend got pregnant with another man while I was working overseas. Years later, she came back asking me to help her get away from him. I had been stationed in Tokyo for an international engineering project with the company I'd been loyal to for years. It was the biggest career step I had taken, and I'd left everything back home in Portland for what was supposed to be a 9-month assignment. Before I boarded that flight, Emily and I had shared an emotional goodbye. She cried at the airport telling me she'd wait, that she was proud of me. When I returned, I was filled with excitement, already planning how I'd propose. I came through the arrival gate expecting to see her smiling face, but she wasn't there. I grabbed a cab and went straight to our apartment. The second I stepped through the door, I heard muffled sobs from the bathroom. I knocked. No answer. Then the door creaked open, and there she stood, holding a pregnancy test, tears streaming down her cheeks. 5 weeks, she muttered. I froze. 5 weeks ago, I was troubleshooting disaster protocols in Tokyo, working overtime, video chatting with her every night. And during those same nights, she was in someone else's bed. My stomach twisted. I couldn't even speak. All I could think about was how much I'd sacrificed. For her, for us. I thought about the nights I missed her so badly I couldn't sleep. I kept picturing her crying at my funeral. If something had gone wrong during my trip, that was what pushed me through the hardest days. But it was all a lie. I finally asked, "Who's the father?" She whispered a name I didn't know. That was it. I snapped. I yelled. Not at her, but at everything. Myself, the walls, the world. I slammed the bathroom door. It cracked down the middle. Emily screamed. I stormed into the living room, flipped the coffee table, punched the TV until my hand bled. Then I left. When I came back the next day, she was gone. All that remained was a note. I was terrified. I'm sorry. I would never have hurt her. But I didn't blame her for being afraid. I didn't recognize myself that night either. Emily had been my lifeline. She was there for me after my parents and sister died in a highway crash. She pulled me through depression. When her family disowned her for being bi, I sold everything to help us move out of state and start over. She meant everything. And yet, she chose a stranger over everything we built. I fell apart. I stopped going to work. I drank too much. My anxiety spiraled. I couldn't sleep. The days melted into one another. The apartment a war zone of dirty dishes and silence. It was Mengi, Jake, my old college roommate and best friend, who pulled me out. He found me half passed out in my kitchen. He didn't say a word, just cleaned me up, got me into bed, and stayed until I could stand again. He didn't give speeches, just presence. That was all I needed. Weeks passed, then months. I started walking, reading, drinking less, going back to part-time consulting gigs. Slowly, painfully, I began to resemble a version of myself I hadn't seen in years. Then, one Saturday afternoon, I saw her. I was browsing in the local bookstore when I caught sight of her through the window. Emily, holding the hand of a tall man standing outside a baby boutique. She looked drained, pale, her hair dull and lifeless. The man, Trevor, I assumed, was tense, pulling her along like she was property. Her eyes flicked up, caught mine, just for a second. In that second, I saw fear, regret, and something else. A silent plea. That night, she texted me, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have ever left. I need help." My heart pounded. We met at a cafe a few days later. The moment she saw me, she broke down. Told me Trevor was controlling, emotionally abusive, that she had no freedom, that she made a mistake and now she was stuck. She asked if we could try again. I said no, but I promised I'd help her leave him. I didn't do it for romance. I did it because, even after all the pain, I still cared. Over the next few weeks, I tracked Trevor's routines. He was clockwork. Gym at 8, drinks at 10. I collected patterns, habits, and weak spots. I never called the police. I knew how that could end, with her still stuck, or worse, so I took it into my own hands. One night, I waited in my car outside the bar. When Trevor stumbled out drunk, I followed, around the corner, down a dark alley. I didn't say a word. I made sure he understood one thing. He wouldn't get another chance to hurt her. When I walked away, my knuckles were raw, my heart racing, but steady. For the first time in a long time, I felt done. Emily never messaged me again. I didn't expect her to. I found peace in knowing she was free, even if she wasn't mine anymore. Now I live quietly. I work. I take walks. Jake and I still hang out. The pain lingers, but it's quieter. One evening I passed a park and saw a couple with their toddler. They were laughing, whole. A small ache bloomed in my chest, but it didn't consume me. Maybe someday I'll get that life. But for now, surviving is enough.